Hello, and welcome to the Keys to the ADI Learning Hub webcast. Thank you for joining us today. My name is Matthew Bohl, and I am the Development Manager here at ADI, and I will be facilitating today's session. Also with us today is Monica Wascom. Monica is one of our professional learning specialists here at ADI, and she will be moderating for us. Now, before we get started, let's go over a couple of Zoom norms for today's webcast. At any moment during our session, feel free to ask a question. We just ask that you use the Q&A button to ask any questions. That way we can keep track of all the questions that have been asked and make sure we get to those. We will also be using the chat function today to drop some links for resources for you to access. Now, finally, this is being recorded, and a copy will be posted on our website following today's session. Now let's dive into goals for today's webcast. Today we will be discussing what the Learning Hub is, how we here at ADI support you in your use of the Learning Hub. We will do a quick walkthrough of how to get started in the Learning Hub. And finally, we will finish our session with answering your questions. So what is the Learning Hub? The ADI Learning Hub is a browser-based application built around our research-based, argument-driven inquiry instructional model. And it gives teachers the resources and tools they need to facilitate rigorous and equitable learning experiences for their students through the use of an extensive and growing library of investigations. So whether they're in person, remote, or somewhere in between. Now that you have been introduced to the Learning Hub, let's talk about how we support you in your use of the Learning Hub. Now, we periodically host sessions like the session today to help you navigate new features that have been added to the Learning Hub and to give users the opportunity to connect to our team here at ADI and get answers to all of your questions that you might have. We have our Keys to the Learning Hub webcast scheduled every week on Tuesdays from now until the end of September. Visit our website for date and time information. Now, Monica is dropping the link where you can find that information in the chat. Another support tool we have built out is our Learning Hub Knowledge Base. Our Knowledge Base website is a great tool to use when trying to find quick answers to your Learning Hub questions and to get a general understanding of how the ADI Learning Hub platform works. You can find our knowledge base at www.help.adilearninghub.com/knowledge. And we are going to drop that link into the chat function as well. Another resource to help you get started in the Learning Hub are our tutorial videos. Now, these videos can be found directly in the Learning Hub that will walk you through topics such as grading student reports to creating a class. You can view these videos by logging into your account and selecting the question mark icon in the top right-hand corner of the page. Now, finally, we have our live chat function. If you're having any technical issues or have a quick question, our live chat function is available for you to use between the hours of 8 a.m. and 4:30 p.m. You are connected to a live representative here at ADI that is available to answer your questions. If you have a question after hours, feel free to use our chat function to search through our knowledge base articles and submit any inquiry without having to find our email address. We will make sure we answer all inquiries within 24 hours of receiving them if you're connecting to us after hours. Now let's jump into the Learning Hub. Now, to get started in the Learning Hub, you are first going to want to create a class. Now, you can create a class by clicking on the Create a New Class button. From here, you're going to give your class a name and set the duration for the start and end date of the class. So you can choose whether to go through the semester or through the whole year by selecting the start and end date. Your next step is going to be to add students to the Learning Hub. Now you can add these students manually by inputting a student's first name, last name, and email address, or by importing a CSV file. From there, you can directly import those emails. Once you've added that student information, then you're going to click on the Set Up Students. This will then prompt you to create groups in the Learning Hub. Now, those groups will be automatically generated for you. The system automatically keeps those at around 3 to 4 students per group. If you do want to make those groups a little bit bigger or a little bit smaller, you do have that option. You can also see the groupings of those students. So if you need to rearrange your student groups, you can do that. Now it's going to prompt you to do it first when you're setting up the class, but you can always edit this once your class is set up. Once you have those groups the way that you like them, you are then going to send those invites to your students. This will prompt an email to be sent to those students to create an account in the Learning Hub. Once those students' accounts have been generated, then they can access the Learning Hub. Now, once we've created a class, it'll take us directly to our class dashboard. This is where you can manage your student groups, manage your invites, or add new students to your class. You can also edit your class duration and the class name. Now, once you have created a class in the Learning Hub, your next step is to assign an investigation. And we can assign an investigation by clicking on the Assign a New Investigation button. Or we can go directly from our header by clicking on the Investigation Library. From here, it'll take you to the different libraries that you have access to in the Learning Hub. I'm going to access our Science Investigation Library. Now, when accessing this library, it's going to pull up all of the investigations that we have published in the Learning Hub. Now, there are new investigations constantly being added, so sometimes you might not know where to start. Well, you can utilize our filter function. This allows you to filter by mode, grade band, discipline, and core idea. I'm going to go ahead and use the filter function to filter by discipline. I'm going to go ahead and select biology. This will take you directly to the biology investigations. Now, if you see a star next to an investigation, that indicates that that is a teacher favorite. That means that that is one of the more popular investigations that is constantly being assigned by other teachers that utilize the Learning Hub system. Now, if you want more information on a specific investigation that you're interested in, from this investigation card, we can click on the View Investigation button. Now, first, it's going to give us a snapshot of all 7 stages of the investigation and what is going to be asked of the students throughout that stage. If you want more information, you obviously are going to want to utilize our preparation documents. Now, our preparation documents have 2 downloads. We're going to have our standards download and our supplies download. Now, by downloading our supplies, that is going to indicate what materials you might need for that specific investigation. And then the standards download is going to indicate what standards that investigation touches upon. In that document, we're going to hit on what core ideas, practices, cross-cutting concepts. We also have our alignment with academic standards listed. It's going to list out by NGSS standards, along with any state-specific standards. Now, the great thing about ADI investigations is that they not only hit on science and math standards, but they're also going to hit on those ELA standards. So we've had that breakdown for you as well. Now, as you're gathering more information, you might want to see a direct preview of that investigation. You can view that by clicking on the Quick Preview button. From here, you can navigate through all 7 stages of that specific investigation and all the activities that are going to be required of your students. Also, here is where you can find our built-out lesson plans and teaching tips. This will help you facilitate those ADI investigations in class and be better prepared for what to talk about when you are facilitating. Now, once you have found an investigation that you want to move forward with, we can assign this investigation to our class by clicking on the Assign Investigation button. From here, we're going to select a start and end date for that investigation, and we can select one or multiple classes to assign it to. Our next step in assigning an investigation is configuring those settings for your investigation. Now, if you are wanting to do this investigation in class, you want to make sure that you're going to select the in-person option. If you need to do it remotely or hybridly, you can select the remote option for one or multiple stages of that investigation. Now we're going to do the configuration for all 7 stages. Once we have figured that configuration, it'll then take us back to our main dashboard. Now, to view that specific investigation for class, we can go to our class dashboard. There you will see the investigation that you have been assigned. Then we're going to go to our investigation dashboard. Now, our investigation dashboard is where you can download any materials that you need. So we have scaffolding handouts built out for all 7 stages. And then we can also utilize our presentation mode to facilitate this ADI investigation in class. So if I click on the View Investigation button and select Presentation Mode, this is where I can project that ADI investigation through my smartboard or projector in class and utilize my full screen mode. That way we can all view it in class together and proceed through the steps together as in class. Now that is a quick walkthrough of how to get started in the Learning Hub. Now, if you are interested in trying the Learning Hub or gaining access, Monica is going to drop a link in the chat function where you can sign up for a 7-day trial. You can also utilize this QR code and fill out a form, and we can get you started in the Learning Hub. Now it's time to submit your questions to the Q&A function. While we want to give everyone a chance to submit a question, let me highlight some things that we have going on here at ADI. Now you want to make sure to follow us on our social media channels. Our Instagram, our Facebook, and our Twitter are always active with teachers engaging one another. Always sharing different student work, so make sure you follow us on all of our social media channels. Please feel free to visit our website so you can access other materials that we have, such as free downloads, including online resources. Also on our YouTube page, we have a lot of short videos about the ADI instructional model. You can also on our website view our webinar page that has old webinars that we used to webcast. So make sure you join the ADI community and follow us on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and Instagram. And find other educators like you from around the country who are working on ADI investigations throughout the year. So we hope that you will sign up and join our conversation. Now let's get to those questions. Monica, do we have any questions?
We do, Matt. We have 2 questions and what you might call a tiny technical difficulty. So let me start with the questions first. So one question was, I know you showed us very quickly, but can you show us where the handouts are located again, please?
Absolutely. Now, from our main dashboard, we want to go to our investigation dashboard. So any active investigations you have already assigned. And refresh that. There you'll find the download materials button. If you select that button, there you'll have all the handouts that you can access. What other questions do we have, Monica?
Okay, this is a good question. I have a friend who wanted to know if they can share the grades in the Learning Hub with their gradebook.
Absolutely. Once you have finished grading student work here in the Learning Hub, you can actually download your grades by selecting the download button and selecting grades, and that will upload a CSV for you that you can upload to any of the systems that you use for grading. Any other questions, Monica?
Well, actually, I had a friend who mentioned they're having trouble they can't seem to access the chat feature, and they were wondering if the links could be sent to them in an additional way.
Yes, so absolutely. If you go ahead and email us at info@adilearninghub.com. Let me go ahead and post that there. info@adilearninghub.com. That is the best email address to contact us. If you will contact us through that email, we'll make sure that we give you all of those links.
All right, Matt, that's all the questions I have from the Q&A. Thank you.
Well, we appreciate everyone for joining us today. Like I said, if you have any additional questions or need any of those resources that we mentioned, please feel free to reach out to us at info@ADI-Learning-Hub. We're going to have more of these sessions throughout the month of August and September, so we look forward to seeing you in the future. Everyone have a great day. Bye now.